Hey, folks, I went to Gateway Pundit just a little while ago, and there is a story over there about a second whistleblower that is telling off on Hunter Biden, and he has went public with it today. He has talked to Laura O'Donnell, who's this lady here. She's a CBS correspondent, been with him for years and years. And it's over his tax issues. This guy is an IRS whistleblower, and he says basically in his speech, and I'll bring you a little bit of that if she doesn't. I actually haven't seen this whole video, but I have seen some other shorter clips. Now, the article I was reading on Gateway Pundit about the details of this had a few little 15-second clips, and I got down to the end, and it says full version. And at the top of the article, the title said full version interview. Went down to the bottom of the page on the Gateway Pundit. It's private. So for some reason, they took that video down. I don't know why. Maybe it's, I can't even say why that happened. So I went to go find the full version of the interview, and I've got 3 minutes of it here for you. I don't know if this is the entire interview, everything about it, but this is all I could find as of so far. They may be scrubbing some of this information. Who really knows at this point? Maybe just speculation. But let's go ahead and get into it. I know it's only tax evasion at this point, alleged tax evasion at this point, but it's at least stink on Joe Biden's shoe that there was things going on that weren't on the up and up involving money. That's step one to get everybody to start understanding that the Bidens are criminals. That's what I like about this. I know it ain't much of a charge, but at least mainstream media is going to have to start talking about it. This stuff is dripping out more and more. And if you stick around to the end of the video, I will show you what James Comer sent to Christopher Wray about his failure to deal with the subpoena. They wanted this one particular piece of information that another whistleblower wanted to bring forward to prove that the Bidens were involved in corruption with some foreign entities. It's a letter from James Comer. I'll bring it to you at the very end of the video, so stick around, folks. That's another barn burner. The walls are closing in on these folks, even a little bit at a time, Eventually, all these folks will be impeached. If not, hopefully they will be dealt with in one way or another, involving, I guess, a change of leadership when the time comes. Let's go ahead and get into it. We'll watch it together.
We turn now to a CBS News exclusive. For more than 3 years, the Department of Justice has been investigating the president's son, Hunter Biden, for possible tax crimes. Last fall, FBI sources told us they had sufficient evidence to bring charges. CBS's Jim Axelrod spoke to the IRS agent who is blowing the whistle on what he says was preferential treatment in his first public interview.
When I took control of this particular investigation, I immediately saw it, was way outside the norm of what I've experienced in the past.
Gary Shapley is a supervisory special agent for the IRS, where he's worked for 14 years. In January 2020, he was assigned to what he calls a high-profile investigation. Who's the subject of the investigation?
I can't confirm or deny the subject of this investigation.
Why not?
Because, part of the tax secrecy laws don't allow it.
Shapley can't say it, but CBS News has learned the investigation was the probe of Hunter Biden by the Trump-appointed U.S. attorney in Delaware. Senior Biden administration officials have vowed to let it run its course without interference.
It's not restricted in his investigation in any way.
But CBS News has obtained this letter Shapley's lawyers sent to Congress Monday, alleging irregularities in DOJ's handling of the investigation. Shapley is seeking legal protections from Congress so he can share specifics of his allegations.
There was multiple steps that were slow walked at the direction of the Department of Justice.
Had you ever encountered that before?
I have not, no. These deviations from normal process, and each and every time it seemed to always benefit the subject.
Shapley says he decided to blow the whistle after a heated meeting last October with federal prosecutors.
It was my red line meeting. It just got to that point where that switch was turned on, and I just couldn't silence my conscience anymore.
Did you let prosecutors know you were unhappy?
I don't think I can answer that.
Hunter Biden has denied any wrongdoing.
Like civil servants.
The IRS agent told us he is a registered Republican. His whistleblowing is being assisted by an advocacy group with past ties to the GOP. But Shapley says this is not about politics.
Why do you want to navigate these waters?
I don't want to do any of this. I took an oath of office, and when I saw the egregiousness of some of these things, it no longer became a choice for me. It's not something that I want to do. It's something that I feel like I have to do.
The IRS told us it can't comment on specific cases, but is committed to supporting whistleblowers in general. Both the DOJ and the U.S. Attorney's Office in Delaware declined to comment.
So Senator Grassley and I through our staff, requested a phone call to discuss it. They went through the whole big runaround. Didn't work out too well. It is basically obstruction of justice at this point. I don't know how else to call it. Let me get down here. It says the FBI refusal to produce a single document is obstruction. Nevertheless, to narrow the breadth of the subpoena is providing additional terms based on unclassified legal protection whistleblower disclosures that may be referenced in the form. Now, they file a contempt of court on Christopher Wray. That is actually can be prison time for that. I believe it's up to 1 year, in some cases 5 years. I believe that's the term. It says, as explained in both previous letters, the committee independent and objective review of this matter will be informed potentially legislative solutions that the committee is exploring. Specifically, the committee is considering legislation aimed at deficiencies in the current legal framework regarding disclosures of financial interests related to Biden. Deficiencies that may place Americans' national security at risk. And there's the problem. So the committee is seeking meaningful reforms in government ethics and disclosures, meaning they want to fix the problem so this can never happen again. They want absolute transparency, not with just Joe Biden, but how these things are, how these type of businesses can't be done in the future. We can't have this influence peddling thing going on from the top down. It's not going to work. And they also want to know about the income, the assets, the financial relationships with the foreign and domestic companies. They want to know about the public corruption, the influence peddling, the federal ethics, financial disclosure regulations, and national security matters are directly within the purview of the Committee of the Oversight Authority, meaning they got full power to investigate. Your response to the subpoena is due on May 30th, which is just in a few days, and if the form is not produced by that date, the committee will initiate contempt of Congress proceedings. To ask to follow or related questions, please contact the committee. The Committee on Oversight and Accountability is the principal oversight committee of the House of Representatives and has broad authority to investigate any matter at any time under the House Rule 10. The subpoena was issued in pursuant to the authority of the chairman of the committee pursuant to both Rule X1.2 of the rules in the House of Representatives and Rule 12G of the committee rules. Thank you for your prompt attention in this important investigation. Sincerely, James Comer. You're either going to cough it up or we're going to file for contempt of charges on you. That's all they got. Like, subscribe, and share. Devoted Patriots. Everybody have a great day.